Hey guys and gals, Never here from Drake Wing Gaming. Some of you know me on Twitter, the Gaming Dragon, today, and coming back at you into the Let's Play episode of A Masquerade in the Woods. So y'all, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right back into it, shall we? Alarm Chan, you are up, and let's go! Alrighty. Alright. And then I see it. That awful rundown house. Took you long enough. Didn't think it hit you that bad. No lights are on. The power outage that hit the night I was here hasn't been fixed. What I noticed this time around, however, are the bars on the windows, even covering the basement one. I guess I wouldn't have been able to get out that way after all, even if I managed to get the collar off. The police tape I saw on the news is still there, reflecting the low moonlight seeping through the dark clouds. Ink, you're up, he says in a low voice as we approach the yellow striped door. Ink walks up and begins cutting the police tape with a knife, along with a large sticker clamped over the door and a part of the frame. I thought we were sneaking in. We're here to leave a message, Tiny. A message? I thought we were gathering evidence. We're doing both. Bloodhound's orders. He then proceeds to cut the tape right down the middle, doing the same to the note, while Giant and I keep watch. Got it. They switch places, Giant readying his rifle. He positions himself in front of the door, one paw on the handle while nodding to the possum. Ink nods back, lining up close behind the big dog, placing a paw on his shoulder, the other on his pistol. Reminds me of the SWAT clips I've seen on the internet. Only this is a carpenter and a nurse, not a trained police force. No, I can't say I'm versed enough in breaching techniques to judge their performance. I instead take on a role I'm more familiar with, standing off to the side, keeping watch behind. The handle turns, but it doesn't open. He tries again, pushing his shoulder against the wood this time. Still, it doesn't budge. He crouches down and puts the rifle to the side, pulling out what looks like two small needles from his pocket. Carefully, he slides them into the lock. It's locked? Ink nods, moving up beside me. Was it locked when you got here the first time? Giant doesn't answer, concentrating on getting the door open. I wait for maybe a minute, the rain hammering down on our plastic masks and bouncing off. At this rate, we'll be soaked in no time, even with the jackets. I sort of wish I could take the mask off just to feel the water run down my face. But we're here to do a job, not enjoy the weather. Haven't got all night, Giant. Giant sighs. They've changed the lock. They what now? He stands back up, rolling his shoulders. Someone's changed the lock since I was here last. Who? Someone who doesn't want anyone inside, even with the police tape being up. Next step? Sending a louder message. Ink nods, taking a step back. Giant does too, taking a deep breath. Then, he rushes forward, slamming his full weight against the door, and it flies open. The lock dislodges with a loud snap as the wooden door frame gives out. As soon as it releases, they both storm inside with their weapons raised, Ink just behind Giant. I follow. Giant takes a sharp right, while Ink turns left. I quickly step inside behind them, ending up between the two. Clear. Clear. Clear? Our flashlights scan the room. The place is a mess. There's stuff everywhere, everything from empty pizza boxes to dirty plates. Tools, stacks of newspapers, empty bottles. What a dump. On top of that, the smell is rancid. Not like the scent in the basement, more like a trash container. The front door seems to lead straight into the living room, par for a short foyer, decorated with a large closet. Under the piles of garbage, I can see an armchair and a coffee table opposite an older TV. The thick kind, with a built-in VHS player. If someone's around, they know we're here. Keep your eyes open. Roger. I nod and follow the two hunters further into the house. We clear each room methodically, as best we can, making sure we're alone. Kitchen, and then a bathroom. We have to move pretty slow since we can barely see the floor under the amount of garbage. It's difficult enough to see through the mask in the dark as it is. By the time we come across a bedroom, or at least I think that's what it's supposed to be, I start getting the hang of this clearing thing. At least the basics of it. A stained mattress is tucked into the corner of the room, with a small pathway through the debris leading to it. The scent is sour, and the entire place smells like it hadn't had fresh air in years. A briny, almost salty stench. I carefully step through. Second now, water time. Okay. This shit is gonna take weeks to sort through. Let's clear the house, then focus on the basement. Oh, shit. As I turn the corner on a large stack of boxes, something catches my attention at the corner of my eye. I turn, my breath catches in my throat, and I almost jump out of my skin as my eyes land on the silhouette. As soon as the gasp escapes me, Giant rushes in behind me, rifle raised at the figure. Duck! What? I step back in a panic, losing my balance and falling down on the stained mattress. A second passes before Giant slowly lowers the barrel of his rifle. reaching out with a paw at the shadowed person. I fumbled for my flashlight, aiming it up at their face. Ugh! It's just a mannequin. The giant lets out a sigh of relief, looking down at me. What happened? It's just a mannequin. Sorry, I thought it was a person. Which begs the question, why it's here in the first place? Ink suppresses a snicker as he waits in the doorway, his back turned to us as he looks down the hall. The giant stretches his paw out to me. It's alright, just... I grab it, and he pulls me back up to my feet. Next time one of us calls out duck, make sure to get down. I nod, and the giant makes his way back towards the open door. He seems a lot more confident with the mask on, or at least he's acting it. Fake it till you make it? I turn back to the mannequin, taking a closer look and letting the flashlight illuminate its features. It seems feminine in shape. Makeup is smeared on its face in a half-assed attempt, with eyes drawn on with a Sharpie. Some sort of leather harness is strapped over its chest, the leather looking a lot less worn than anything else in the room. Oh, God! Yep, I'm gonna have to edit that. Then I noticed the dick. Or sex toy, rather. A strap-on with a big red dildo attached to it, shaped like a canine penis. My flashlight also illuminates white stains all over it, and now it's not so difficult imagining why it's here. Jesus! I was expecting to see some strange stuff, but this is not what I had in mind. The giant looks back over his shoulder. Nothing, nothing. We clear or what? The giant looks at me expectantly. Yeah, clear. I follow him back out into the hallway. Giant walks ahead, leading us down the hall to a storage room. Nothing seems to stick out, just shelves and containers. Giant stops in the doorway and points to a bundle of cardboard boxes stacked on the floor. There. Ink bends his neck around the big dog's broad frame. What's there? The hatch. He walks over and begins pushing the boxes to the side, revealing a rusting metal slab. Ink follows him inside, and I do the same. How'd you even find it in the first place? It wasn't covered when I got here last time. And it wasn't covered when I left. And it wasn't covered when I left. He grabs the handle and pulls, but a padlock stops it from lifting more than a few centimeters. Giant gets back down on his knees and pulls the needles back out, delicately moving his massive digits to pick the lock. Is this typical for a crime scene? Nothing in blackmail surprises me anymore, he says, his tone defeatist. The lock opens with a lot more success this time, and the hinges squeak as Giant lifts the hatch. That musty smell floods my nose again, and I instinctively step back. Now, was that so difficult, Andy from Red Creek? You good, Tiny? I shake my head and steady myself. Yeah, I'm fine. Giant looks at me, and even though I can't see his face, I can tell he's doubting me. Let's move. The staircase leading down to the basement creaks as we move down in a compact line. Giant checks the right side, Ink the left, and me straight ahead, our flashlights scanning the room from side to side. Right side clear. Left side clear. Clear. We lower our weapons and look around. Several tables line the walls, with one in the center, all of them littered with different junk. Jackpot! Alright, check the room. I'll clear the last one. We nod to the big dog as he moves towards the door on the far wall. We place our flashlights down vertically on the tables, much like Giant did when he found me, illuminating the basement in a low light. Then we begin looking through all the stuff. Man, this shit's a fucking mess! Second, y'all. Water time. With how many different jugs of strange liquids, metal scrap, and gadgets and just straight-up trash collected on the desks, we spend maybe a minute just trying to find a place to start. Once the last room is checked, Giant returns to join us, closing the door behind him. Alright, we're clear. And then we begin searching. 10 minutes of wading through the trash pass, looking for anything that could give us a lead on the other missing people, before we have our first breakthrough. Got something. What is it? I honestly can't tell, but it sticks out. He lifts a piece of paper up to us as we approach. Oh. Okay. It's like a cipher or something. Yep. A cipher? Seems George had no idea what it was either. Follow Lucas's eyes to another piece of paper on the table. From the looks of it, he was trying to solve it. But across the entire thing in bold letters, someone has written, "What the fuck is this shit?" You think Bloodhound could solve it? You think it could be relevant? Ink turns to me. Why else would it be encrypted? I don't know, just a puzzle? It could be relevant, so we might as well take it. Pretty sure Riot was the one who was good at puzzles, though. Possum shrugs. Let's give Bloodhound a shot at it. Riot must have taught him something, right? Giant nods, swinging the duffel bag off his shoulder and placing the papers in it. Riot? Is that his nickname? Yeah. Right, Ludwig. Why was he called Riot? Honestly, no fucking clue. Giant shakes his head. I don't really know either. Guess it's something I'll have to ask Shepard or River about later. We go back to searching, and another few minutes pass before one of us speaks up again. This time it's Ink, who has stumbled across something. Holy shit! Me and Giant both look over. The possum lifts up a large piece of metal, turning it in gloved paws to look over it. I look over to have a better look, and Mason turns his head to me as I do. Oh god, what the hell? It's some sort of collar. Looks more like a supersized handcuff with a metal box attached to it. What's it for? Mason shrugs his shoulders and shakes his head. I haven't got the slightest idea. His voice drops to a whisper. Looks kinky, though. Anything else around to give any context? Ink hands a collar to me and starts moving stuff around. It's lighter than it looks and sounds hollow when I tap my claws against the box. Tools, scrap metal, random gadgets. Oh, blueprints! Can you decipher what it is? Ink looks over at him. And this light, with his mask on? Giant nods. Alright, bag it and anything else you think might be relevant. We can take a closer look at it once we're back at the home base. What is this, Chekhov's collar? You got it, Giant. I hand the metal collar back to Mason and fetch the bag. Once it's packed, we return searching. 20 minutes pass. Then I spot something that looks out of place. On top of a pile of trash lies a book with the text "Guests" written on the front. It looks well kept and almost ornate compared to everything else around. I grab it, opening it up, realizing right away it's not a regular book. It's a photo album. Guys, I think I've got something. Lucas looks up from the desk he's searching, and Mason comes walking over. What did you find? Photos. Victims. Flipping through it, it's filled with photographs of different people, all of them wearing the leather collar and sitting on the floor in the same room I did just 2 days ago. Some of them bleeding, most of them crying, all of them naked. It's difficult to describe how haunting it is to look at them, knowing what happened just moments after the photos were taken. This might be the last photo anyone's ever seen of them. The last moments of their lives captured in an image. None of them deserve what happened to them. No one does. At the bottom, numbers and letters are written in Sharpie along with names. Jason C. 10 T 32. Selma C. 10 T 42. Arvin. Huh. Oh, Arvin, huh? Oh, Lord. 1 second, y'all. Water time. I'm thinking of Arvo, not Arvin. Okay. Arvin, C10, T24. The fox in that last one looks particularly young. One of them, Charlie, a young-looking dog of some kind, has a big red X over his photo. Lucas tosses his duffel bag over to Ink. Bag it. You got it. I sigh and close it, putting it in the bag. Ink puts the bag down on the floor, then stops as his eyes fall on something half obscured by a newspaper. He moves it aside and picks it up. What's that? His last victim. I tilt my head in confusion. He turns a little piece of paper over, showing it to me. Oh, God. Andy C. T. You're one... Maybe I should do more of a creepy southern accent for George. You're one pretty raccoon, you. That's better. Andy C. T. Never got the chance to write the numbers, I guess. What is it? Giant asked from across the room. Raccoon with purple eyes and a bloody forehead. Oh. Let's bag it. We can deal with it later. I can't take my eyes off it. Off my own eyes in the photograph, as Ink slips it into the side pocket of the duffel bag. The tears in them, the look of absolute terror. He looks kind of happy, actually. Weird. How pathetic I look. Giant comes up and gently grasps my arm. I turn to him, and behind the mask, his eyes give me a somber look. Let's stay focused, okay? That's over now. I nod, closing my eyes and taking a moment to breathe. Oh, God. You want to show up to the party looking nice, don't you? Don't worry, honey. I'll make it quick. Jesus. I shudder, looking down at my paw. I hate you. I hate you for what you did to me. For what you made me do. For what you made me become. Maybe you did deserve it after all. Mason picks his flashlight back up. All right, Giant. Pretty sure we've come through this room pretty thoroughly at this point. Agreed. Does that mean we're leaving? I pick my flashlight up as well. Not yet. We still have a few things left to do. Ink rolls his shoulders. All right, let's get this over with. Wait, what are we doing? Ink is going to take a look at the body. And live up to my name. Could you help me out? You could help me out if you want. Still here? Shouldn't the police have taken it to the, I don't know, morgue or something? Coroner's office. Ink corrects, leaning back against one of the tables. Right, that. Judging from the state of the place, I'd wager they haven't been inside much at all. What? They just put the police tape on the door and left? Giant shrugs, nodding. That'd pretty much be my guess. But the chief mentioned the claws. And someone's been inside to change the locks. Question is, was that the police or someone else? And if it was someone else, did they do it before the police were here or after? 1 second, y'all. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and pause it right there. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, leave a super thanks or tip if you can. It always helps. Until the next video, I love you all. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!